Hi guys. You ever boil an egg? The boiled one is kinda like that, but with radiation poisoning. I mean, you saw the dude in the thumbnail. He looks like if Stewie Griffin grew up with a stick of plutonium taped to his back. The boiled one phenomenon was created by a certain Dr. Nowhere back in March of this year. Now, I know this video is a part of a greater series, but I've only heard people talk about this video in specific. So I'm interpreting that as this is the magnum opus of this series and deserves all of my attention. When I first looked up this piece of supposedly horrifying horror, I was immediately greeted with a whole bunch of videos saying, "This is terrifying, don't watch at night, this video made me convert to Catholicism," all the telltale signs of people trying to get clicks on their video. So that's when I had to find out. That's when I knew I had to throw my metaphorical hat into the metaphorical ring to truly figure out, is the boiled one phenomenon a horror phenomenon? Short answer, no. Long answer, stay tuned. One thing I'd like to mention before I get started, the video flashes you with this line that looks like it was drawn in MS Paint. If you haven't seen it, here's what it looks like in real time. I've watched this video twice, once for pleasure and once for criticism. The second time, partly to understand what this line means, and I still have no idea. If you have an idea, I'd be happy to read your conspiracy theory in the comments. The video starts off with a warning label that I'm sure won't be contradicted towards the end of the video, and is followed up by a set of safety instructions. Man, safety instructions are for bitches. If I see this dude outside my house, I'm gonna cut him down like the tree he is. After that pre-flight safety instruction guide, the video starts to tell us that there was this nature documentary filmed in the late 1990s in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, this show was cancelled when the host died. But mysteriously, the 13th episode started to do a rerun, and it was in this episode, Boiled Boy makes his grand debut. That's what I would have said if the video didn't completely steal Fenn's thunder by talking about him for a whole minute before showing us his broadcast jump scare. Is this guy's name really Fenn? Like, for a Lovecraftian creature of this magnitude, I would have named him like Liquefectum or something. More words pop up on screen, and I can't be bothered to read all of that, so I'm gonna condense all of this into like 15 seconds. The anomaly caused a blackout, the anomaly affected 509 people, officials decide to interview an old war veteran who was struck mute from the anomaly, but thankfully he knows Morse code. Here's a picture of Fenn next to a doghouse. He looks like a tree that survived a forest fire, and on to the interview. By the way, that one overview shaved off about 3 minutes worth of time. I don't know if that makes me a good speedrunner, or if this video really needed to just hit that 10-minute mark. Which it did, by less than a minute. The interview goes on at a fairly reasonable rate, considering that the interviewee is physically and mentally impaired, and hey, I know those nerve endings from anywhere!
This is helping more than you know.
Now Fenn has the chance to seize the video and give us some actual scares! Unfortunately, I already saw parts of him poking out from the corner of the bed, so there goes the surprise factor, and this whole levitating like Chris Angel shtick isn't doing him any favors. Do something already! Fenn decides to go off script and doesn't even give the video the chance to explain what the hell's about to happen. He starts rambling about some religious happy trees bullcrap all the while he's giving birth. Is it a boy or is it a girl? It's a fucking abomination! The video finally takes back control from Fenn and ends off this lovely little video with a warning label that completely contradicts the warning label at the beginning. Damn it! And that was the boiled one phenomenon. Now let's talk about why I didn't like it. First and main issue. This video talks way too much. Every main point in this video has some sort of build-up and or explanation. Normally, this isn't a bad thing, but when it's used as excessively as it is here, it can take away major scare points that would have been scored if it just didn't have the explanation. Imagine this. The video cuts the entire explanation about Fenn during the beginning of the video, and it goes from the episode 13 rerun straight to Fenn's broadcast jump scare. Should look something along the lines of this.
It took its ground here boldly. As many of us know, it's infamous.
We eat supper
You get the idea. Point being, I just made Finn twice as scary by cutting out his context and making him more ambiguous. Ambiguity is scary. Second and last issue I have with this is the whole warning contradiction thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain it to you, because this is hella dumb. In short, the first warning says this video contains hazardous content, and the last warning says this video is no longer safe to view. If the tape cuts off prematurely because the rest of the tape isn't safe to view, then that has to mean that what we just saw was perfectly safe to view. This is a contradiction I am now going to be referring to as the boiled paradox, where things that aren't really safe are in actuality kinda safe. And for me personally, this took away a lot of fear points towards the end. But that's enough of me crapping on crops. What did I like about this? For starters, Fenn looks freaky as hell. I mean, I wouldn't be too keen on the idea of this dude watching me while I sleep, but at the same time, I keep a sword in my room, so I'm probably not the best for intruder-like scenarios. The shots that weren't slideshow presentations were actually really well done, and I'd consider to be better than some modern horror games. The only part that I consider to be questionable was when Finn goes full AC-130 mode with his arm towards the end of his speech. Now I know I gave the Duck of Unlocatable Places a lot of shit during this, so in the spirit of being good-spirited, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and take a guess on what happened to make this so unenjoyable for me. For starters, the Doc says he's 17. Honestly, an impressive age to have a PhD, but I digress. Going off of that, that's a pretty young age. He's probably inexperienced in making analog horror and writing and all of that crap, and I can't blame him. You know, practice makes perfect and all that bullshit. All in all, I'll give this a solid 4 out of 10. Not the scariest, but it does have its unnerving moments. If you're getting into horror for the first time, honestly, this video is a good place to start. But let's say you are starting your horror adventure from this video. Where do you go from here? Well, me personally, I would recommend something like the Saw series, since most of its horror— Ah! I saw you jump there. Don't ever let me catch you lacking again. Stay safe, eat cake, and I'll see you later.